Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Guild Wars 2 PvP class guide. So this is my iconic little starting moment spot. So we're on Guardian today. We've already made a Mesmer, Warrior, Thief, and Ellie class guide. So these class guides are aimed at general people who are new to the class, who want to learn a thing or two about some weapon rotations, some of the meta builds, the role of the class, utilities, traits, some nice combos, and the main thing is, even for some veteran players, how to deal with the other classes on Guardian. So that will be at the end of the video, so you can kind of skip to that kind of area if you want to hear just that bit. But if you're new and you want to hear some cool stuff, just stay around. So the role of Guardian, pretty much. There's three main builds for Guardian at the moment. There's Burn Guard, there's Meditation Guard, and there's Bunker Guard. So Burn Guard focuses on bursting massive teams down through the use of conditions. This is great against people with low health and high toughness, because conditions ignore toughness and power does not. So Mediguard is great at bursting down squishy targets and getting massive AoE pressure in teamfights. So this is great against targets with low toughness but high HP, since you do massive high hits against them. And then Bunker Guard is just a utility / support guardian that is great at reviving allies, stomping down, massive boon sharing, and healing. So it's kind of a support type of build. If you don't like support type of builds, you can play the DPS ones, which is Mediguard for power and Burn Guard for conditions. So I have all those three builds on my channel, so you can check those out. I might put a link in the description of the video to those builds, so yeah, you can check those three out. So in those videos I have like gameplay, and I cover the rotations, and I explain the build and everything, and the gameplay is pretty cool to watch. So I'll go through some of the weapons. I think Guardian has the second highest amount of weapons apart from Warrior. I think Warrior has the most weapons, then Guardian has the next amount. So I'll cover all the two-hand weapons first, then I'll get into the one-handed, main hand, and then the offhand. And then I'll cover some traits and tips and rotations. So Guardian sword, main hand. So I'll equip them all here. I have all of the weapons ready for you guys. I actually have bolt. It's pretty cool. Aside from that, so oh shit, I'll mute TeamSpeak here real quick, sorry. Okay, that's done. So with Mediguard you generally want to run a Berserker or Marauder Amulet. I'm not traded for it right now, I'm traded for Burn Guard. So I'll just switch a couple of things out to what Mediguard usually runs. And yeah, I'll just leave that here for now. Doesn't really matter. But so sword auto attack is massive cleave. It hits 3 targets. So let's say there's a downed target and there's 2 people reviving him. That's 3 targets right there, and you can do massive pressure to each one of them. So this is the amount of pressure you can put on each one of those targets, and that's actually not too bad, as you see there. So that's the type of situation you use your sword auto attack for: cleaving downed and cleaving unknown targets. So if there's a Mesmer in stealth, you just want to wave your sword about, and if you actually hit the Mesmer in stealth, it will move on to the second auto attack in the chain. So instead of Sword of Wrath, you'll be spamming Sword Arc, and then Sword Wave if you hit him again. So that's a cool way to tell if you've hit someone in stealth. Also, if a thief drops a Shadow Refuge, just wave your sword about, and you can see if you hit anyone. But yeah, you want to generally spam this skill while in sword. That's your main form of pressure. Once your burst is down, Flashing Blade is a blink. It's 600 range only, so it's about this far, and it applies a blind as well. So the blind is really great for blocking a big attack. And then once you do Sword 2, you can follow up with Sword 3, which hits 8 times and does a big burst of attacks. So as you saw there, you hit up to about 3.4k on a heavy target. On a light target, you could imagine that would be much more. So in combination with Sword, you usually run Focus, because that's another... Where is it? Where's my Focus? Okay, so Focus, since in Meditation Guard is a bit of a squishier build and higher damage build, Focus gives you access to some defensive skills like regeneration and blindness, and that's a range pressure skill, 1200 range, so you can hit them from about this far away. Yeah, about that far away. Yeah, and that just bounces about, hits people. Applies blindness. Your Focus number 5 skill blocks 3 attacks. However, if it doesn't block 3 attacks, it explodes, dealing massive damage and applying a blast finisher. So it explodes after 4 seconds. There's a motorcycle outside. But yeah, so it explodes after 4 seconds. So if you want to get the blast off for the massive damage, you can pop it a bit preemptively, and then wait about 2 or 3 seconds and blink in with Flashing Blade, and you can get the big explosion off for about 4k damage, then follow up with your sword 3. So it's a couple of combos for Meditation Guard. Yeah, so then I'll move on to the next one-handed weapon, Mace. While we're in combat here real quick, we might as well just show off. I'll just kill this guy actually really quick. And yeah, okay, sorry about that. I'm gonna switch to Mace next. So Mace is used in what's it called? Mace is used in Bunker Guardian because it has access to many defensive skills. It gives you protection on one of them, so protection reduces damage by 33%. Sounds pretty OP, but it is not really. I'm gonna be right back a second here. Sorry about that. So yeah, so with Mace you have access to protection on the number 3 skill and a block. Then the number 2 skill, once again another defensive type of skill. It applies a regen that ticks 5 times, heals you for about 3k health if you're standing at the full duration. And it deals quite a bit of damage as well. The Mace auto attack also deals quite a bit of damage and heals you on the last chain of the auto, so heals you for a bit of health. Hence, it is good in a Bunker Guardian type of situation. Yeah, so that's what it's really used for there. Next weapon, Scepter. So Scepter's our main source of ranged pressure. It can be used in a Meditation Guard because you have access to Immobilize. Where's my Scepter? What? Oh, it's in the other hand, probably. Okay, sorry. So yeah, Scepter has access to a ranged auto attack, 1200 range, but it's very weak and it can be easily kited. It's actually not too weak. It's around 1.2k each, which is quite high, but it can be dodged if the enemy moves to the side, and most players will be moving around. So Smite hits 16 times, that's what's good about it, and each hit can crit up to about 600 each, 600 to 700. Oh, what? Oh, sorry. Yeah, so yeah, each Smite hits quite a lot. It's great for activating on-hit type of skills, and can get actually quite a bit of damage down. Makes your opponent waste a dodge. You can combo this with Chains of Light, because it's an Immobilize, so you can Chains of Light and then Smite someone, so they actually can't dodge out of it. So you want to cast Smite first, and then Chains of Light, and as you see there, they're in the Smite for pretty much the whole duration. So yeah, that's an Immobilize. It applies vulnerability as well, and has 900 range. This can also be set up with some of your other skills, like you can Chains of Light, then switch weapons to another skill, and then drop that so it can't be dodged, for example. Let's kill this guy. So as you saw there, you can preemptively cast a skill and then blink in with Judge's Intervention. That's one of my favorite combos with Guardian. Pretty much every Guardian will say that that's one of the greatest combos there is on the class, and it's just really fun. So I already covered Focus offhand. Torch offhand. So this is your main source of damage from a weapon on a conditioned Guardian. So Burn Guardian runs this. The Torch 4, when you activate it, it burns foes around you for a couple of ticks. Then you can chuck it as well to add an extra couple of stacks of burning there. And then a Torch 5 just hits a lot of times. It's pretty useless, but it removes conditions on allies and not yourself. So if you see allies with a couple of conditions on them, you can quickly run over there and Cleansing Flame it. And this hits a lot of times, but does low damage. Where a Meditation Guard, obviously it hits quite high, but on a Burn Guard, that's a very useless skill. Shield offhand. Shield offhand's great in Bunker Guardian because it gives access again to protection, and it's generally run with, where is it? Mace. Mace Shield is the general combo with Bunker Guardian, and with a Staff offhand. But so Shield again gives you protection. So, like the Mace skill, the more protection you have, the longer you'll survive, because it reduces damage by 33%. And the number 5 skill knocks foes back, and then you can proc it again to heal. And this Dome blocks incoming projectiles. So, I'm not sure if this is visual or real, but this shield blocks incoming projectiles, and if you proc the heal at the very last second, the shield lasts a long time. It lasts about 20 seconds in total. It should go away soon here. Or not. Wow. I think we bugged it. We can knock him back, proc the heal, and the shield stays up. So yeah, that blocks projectiles. And the heal obviously is good for a support type of Guardian. And if someone is resurrecting, you can kind of knock them back and quickly get a stomp. Or if someone's trying to stomp an ally, you can also knock them back and get a stomp, and you can get a res, sorry. So yeah, that's the weapons for offhand and main hand. Great sword, hammer, and staff. All your two-handed weapons on Guardian are really strong. They're actually quite powerful considering we're a Guardian. And yeah, the two-handed weapons are very strong, even up to par on like warriors, for example. So Guardian hammer auto attack. It's a very slow-moving auto attack. Can be blinded very easily or dodged out of. And it just gives a light field on the last one. Puts a symbol on the last auto attack chain. Number 2 is a really great skill called Mighty Blow. So if this crits, it can crit up to very high numbers. And it's a blast finisher, so you can blast things like those water fields, light fields, and fire fields for some might. But as you saw there, yeah, it crits pretty high. Number 3 is Zealot's Embrace, a long range immobilize, 1200 range. So once again, about this far away, it can immobilize a target. So you can set up a burst like so. Oh, didn't work there. So Banish is a 750 range launch, a really fun skill. If there's an opponent downed on a point, you can just knock them really far away off the point and let them bleed out. And the skill doesn't work because it's a bot. I'll show it off up there a bit later. But it launches someone 750 range, it's quite powerful. And then Ring of Warding, so this applies a large ring around you, which just people get knocked down if they try to cross, so it's great for stopping things like thieves from getting to you, unless they have like steel up or a shadow step. Mesmer's illusions can't cross this, so it's great for fighting them. Anyone with little access to stability, like necromancers, things like that, it's really great against. So, Great Sword. This is your main source of damage on Meditation Guardian, pretty much. It's massive AoE burst with your number 2 skill. Your auto attack chain is just a regular Greatsword auto attack chain, hit 3 times, gain might on the last auto attack, pretty generic. The number 2, however, is a really fun skill, so you can do a couple of combos with the Greatsword. So you can drop a symbol and then drop number 2, so that increases your damage. Then you can pull some foes into your number 2 skill with your Blinding Blade. So number 5 skill chucks a blade out to 5 nearby foes, and then activating it again pulls them all into you. Then you can immediately follow up with a Whirling Wrath. Then Leap of Faith, just as the name says, it's just a leap that deals damage and blinds. And you can usually follow up with things like Greatsword 2, Greatsword 4, Switch, Hammer 2. So yeah, Greatsword, Hammer there. I'll go through the staff weapon skills here. So staff auto attack is a big AoE 5-man cleave, great for tagging things and applying pressure to a large amount of people. Orb of Light is a great healing skill. I'll actually switch to staff here. Cool, a nice mail. Where is staff? Okay, yeah, so staff here. Yeah, as you see, it hits 5 people. There's only 3 bots here, but I'll just show it off. Boom. Oh, it's not hitting them all. But yeah, it can hit up to 5 targets if you position it right. I don't think I can... Oh yeah, I can hit all of them from here. Can I? Oh yeah, I got him. Yeah, so you can... Yeah, as you see, yeah, you hit all 5 targets. And number 2 just sends a big orb of light towards a foe. Number 3 is another symbol that applies swiftness. You can drop it at the start of a match. And if there's someone downed off point, you can drop the symbol on them to stop them from healing. Empower gives you might, and this is great when you combined with the altruistic healing trait, because it applies a lot of boons, so I'm not traded for that right now. But it applies 60 boons, so that's 60 times 80, or however much your altruistic healing trait heals for. You can check that out in my Bunker Guard video. And then Line of Warding just drops a big line on the ground, so foes can't cross it. Once again, Mesmer clones, Thief clones, you can kind of cross it, so they can't get to you, and they use a stability or something to get over it. You run back along it. So yeah, those are all the weapon skills. I'll go through some of the traits. So Guardians has access to a meditation healer, which is very weak. It heals for quite a lot, surprisingly, but it is nothing like our beautiful shelter. So back in the day, some Guardians used to run Signet of Resolve because it's a big heal. It looks very appealing, heals for 8k, and removes conditions. However, Shelter is 2 seconds of invulnerability, which is very strong in PvP. You can soak up any burst you want, and it heals for about 6.6k, I believe. because we have a trait called Smiter's Boon. So whenever you use a healing skill, you cast Smite Condition, and Smite Condition heals you for 2k, gives you Fury, and deals some damage. So I'll show you that. So yeah, we dealt damage there from a heal skill. And so yeah, and it blocks for 2 seconds. Then I'll go through the type of category. So Guardians have access to meditations. Mediguard usually runs these 3 skills. Judge's Intervention, I told you why, because you can queue it up with other skills and deal insane damage. Where is my hammer? Yep, so you can start casting Greatsword 2 and then cast Judge's Intervention to get a big leap off, and then then pop Symbol of Wrath and leap through it with Leap of Faith. Smite Condition, it just removes a condition, deals more damage if you have a condition on you. Great for applying Big Burst, AoE. This works even if you have something like Blind on you, it removes the blind first and then damages. Then Contemplation of Purity just converts all the conditions on you into boons, so it's better than removing them, it converts them all into boons. Heals you, gives you Fury, and is a stun break. And Renewed Focus is also meditation, so 3 seconds of pure invulnerability, a bit of healing, and it resets all your virtues. Then Guardians have access to Consecrations. So Consecrations are very strong. You don't usually run only about 2 of them maximum in a fight, but even then you still wouldn't. Wall of Reflection is a big wall that reflects all projectiles, so it's great against rangers, for example. It bounces them all back. Engineers and Purging Flames is the main condition Burning Guard type of skill. It does massive burning damage to multiple targets and bursts them down. Then you have your Shouts. So Shouts are really good with Bunker Guardian because they heal you and they convert conditions to boons and remove conditions. So Retreat, Aegis, and Swiftness. Save Yourselves is quite bad. Even though it looks very appealing to newer Guardians, it draws all the conditions onto you, which is the first bad thing about it. Has a very long cooldown, and in PvP it actually only lasts 5 seconds. So it's very bad. Stand Your Ground is very strong. Most Guardian builds run this for the stability stomp. And even though our F3 gives stability, this is our second stability for more access to stomps and a bit of retaliation and a stun break. And then Hold the Line is just some condition clear and protection and regen when traded. We have the typical signets that do a passive and an active, 180 power, minus 10% damage, 180 condition damage, 180 healing. And then Spirit Weapons are very bad. They're pretty much Necromancer minions, but 10 times worse because they do nothing. And the actives all don't work properly. Yeah, so those are some of the utilities. I'll get into some traits here. So, Virtues is pretty much the most important one. It's run in nearly every Guardian build because of basically Master of Consecrations. Reduces recharge on all your consecrations and they last longer. Then this basically means your F2 skill removes conditions and it's stronger. So you heal about 100 health per second and it clears 3 conditions. Then Indomitable Courage, Indomitable. So this gives your F3 a stab, it turns it into a stun break, and it also breaks stun for allies. So this is great for stomping and getting quick reses off because it gives you 3 stability, which is enough for most things. And like this rarely gets broken. You usually, like foes only usually have 3 CCs, and then even then they can't coordinate all of them in 4 seconds, and that's enough time to res someone. So Valor is our meditation type of trait line. It's a very strong trait line once again. It's run in Burn Guard and Mediguard, which proves it's quite strong. So it just means your meditations heal for 2k each, give you Fury, have reduced recharge, and it gives the Fury to all of the allies actually. Yeah. And then Strength in Numbers gives toughness to all nearby allies while in combat, so this is permanent. It's a really strong trait. And then Smiter's Condition I already spoke about. It's quite strong and fun. So Radiance is our burning trait line, just increases our burn durations, gives us more access to burning and crit chance. Honor is a shout / bunker guard trait line, it gives you access to your shouts and a bit of healing. And then Zeal is just access to just a kind of damage bonus trait line. And vulnerability / symbols. This is great for PvE. I'm going to make some PvE builds soon because I pretty much covered all the PvP ones. Let me just read trait here, then tell you guys how to deal with some of the other classes. right hand strength. Let's switch out to scepter. There's my scepter. And where is it? Oh no, my torch. And then we can run what weapon do we run in the other slot? We run hammer for Medigard, sorry, just had a mind blank there. Carrion amulet, Balthazar rune, and we should be all traded up for that. Switch out our utilities real quick. You can always check out these build guides on my channel, so I'm just going to be running the typical Medigard because that's the most popular build at the moment, and it's very easy to deal with a lot of the classes. And where is it? Contemplation of Purity. So, let's begin. So, against an engineer, they have very little access to condition removal, other than if they're on elixirs or the HGH trait line. If this happens, you want to whittle them down with the conditions. So, as a newer Medigard, most Guardians just boom, drop all their burning skills, get someone up to like 15 stacks, and then one condition clear just negates all their damage. That's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Yep, we're running the right traits and everything. The runes, I mean. Sigils, sorry. And so, more experienced Medigards can kind of bait people's condition removals, and then drop the big bombs on them. So a couple of ways to do this are, through your scepter, so as you see every 5 attacks, we apply burning to someone, and smite hits someone 16 times. So as you can tell there, that will apply a couple stacks of burning, and then so will cleansing flame here. So we can kind of bait his condition removal through this. He already has 4 stacks in him and goes down quite high. If he doesn't want to remove it, we can pop Zealot's Flame and then Judge's Intervention and get a big burst on him. And then even then, we haven't used Purging Flames, he's already dead, and Purging Flames is our main source of damage. And then, if they have very high health, and the conditions are whittling them down and they're still alive, you can switch to Hammer and finish them off, because we have an Intelligence Sigil, so Mighty Blow is guaranteed to crit. Or you can immobilize first just to make sure you hit the Mighty Blow. So yeah, those are the 2 types of builds of engineers. Any other engineer build has little access to condition removal, so you can just drop the big Purging Flames bomb on them and they're dead. So against a DDLE, they have access to insane amounts of condition removal, so once again you want to practice the whittling down tactic and the condition bait tactic. So LEs will most likely remove a condition once they get to 3 stacks. So you can kind of bait that out here. And he would remove a condition there, but this is a bot, so obviously he wouldn't. And then you can drop a Purging Flames on him to get another 3 stacks up. And if he touches the edge, he gets another 3 stacks on him. And then he'd remove another condition, and then you can drop Judge's Intervention and a Mighty Blow. And then you can kind of pop Change of Light when he's down to immobilize him. And apply Vuln. So this is 2 conditions, so if people have a random condition removal, it doesn't always remove burning first, so you can pop immobilize and Vuln, and it might remove one of those and keep the burning stack on them. So that's another tip there. So against Guardian, against a Bunker Guard, you can't really defeat them because they have access to a lot of condition clear, and they'll just convert it to a boon, and they can just hold you out for a long time, and you can't burst them down either because they're just too tanky and have too much healing. Against a fellow Burn Guardian, you want to make use of your block heal, and your heal removes a condition. Remember that. So if they apply a lot of burning stacks on you and drop their big bombs, you can drop shelter on them and remove the conditions. And once again, you don't really want to go above 3 or 4 stacks unless you really have to. And against a Medigard, you can just drop the big bomb on them once they've used their smite condition skill. So yeah, you want to try and bait the smite condition on a burn guard, on a Medigard I mean, sorry. And then you can just drop the big burning bomb on them with Judge's Intervention. And what is it? And Judge's Intervention, Virtue of Justice, Zealot's Flame. I'll move on to Mesmer now. Yeah, so Mesmer against a Power or Shadow Mesmer, any type of Shadow Mesmer, has 0 access to condition removal, so you can drop your Torch 4 will be your main source of damage against that type of build. Against a Conditioner Mesmer, even then, they still have little access to condition removal. And Purging Flames will kill all their clones, so you can just try and get as many stacks on them as you can. If they manage to remove it somehow, you can just use Torch 4 to be your main source of damage. So you really want to save Purging Flames unless they have a lot of illusions, and save Judge's Intervention for a hammer combo like Mighty Blow, Judge's Intervention, or banish Judge's Intervention. I'll move on to Warrior. So against a Shout condition clearing Warrior that converts pretty much every condition in the bloody game into a boon, or removes it, there's not much we can do here. Against a Hammer Greatsword Warrior or a Destroyer Warrior that runs Rampage, those types of warriors, they have little access to condition removal. However, they do have Berserker Stance, which gives them 10 seconds of invulnerability to conditions. So you really want to look at their boon bar for that, and don't waste any of your skills while they have that up. While they have that up, you can kind of kite them or CC them with your Ring of Warding and Banish, and immobilize them so they can't get to you until that's off cooldown, and then drop your Judge's Intervention. Yeah, so I'll show off the Banish Judge combo here. Boom. Oh, he blocked it. So yeah, and then you just really want to try and avoid their burst. You want to stay in Scepter Torch a lot while fighting a warrior, because you can range pressure him down and burn him down. And apart from that, you just want to, yeah, just get your burns up pretty high against that, unless it's a Shout Warrior, in which case you'd need your team to help you, like a Thief or a Mesmer, to just +1 the fight and burst him down. I'll cover Necro. I'll cover Ranger last, because there's no Ranger bot here, like I usually do. So against a Necromancer, so the typical build on Necro is a Selly Signet Necro, which have access to a lot of boon condition conversion and condition transfer, which is a big problem. So they have access to transfer a condition to you, so you don't want to use Purging Flames at all on a Necro if they have Signets up, because they could just purposely walk through the edges 5 times and then transfer all the burn stacks to you, and your health will go from here all the way down to here in like 1 tick. So that's if the Necro is good. However, if you know you're versing worse players, you can still do that, the Purging Flames on them. Against a Power Necro, they'll be very squishy, very little access to condition removal, and very low health. So you can just boom drop the big burning bomb on them, like Purging Flames. I'll actually show you the big bomb here on this Necro, because he won't be able to remove it. I can get up to about 12 stacks without Torch. And then I'll switch to Torch, and I'm about 14 stacks, so that's the big burning bomb. So yeah, against a Power Necro, just drop the big burning bomb on him. Against a Selly Signet Necro, you want to save Judge's Intervention for the healing, save Purging Flames for the healing. You'll have to use Contemplation of Purity if they transfer too many conditions, and remember that your Virtue of Resolve is a condition clear, and Renewed Focus is a invulnerability. But you want to get them down about 3 stacks at a time, so in case it comes back to you, it won't be too bad. But don't really get them above that, because they have access to a lot of transfers. And there, so yeah, we don't really want to get him too high. Boom. We did the Judge Banish combo there. Yeah, so then against Thieves, we have things like access to things like Ring of Warding, so the Thief can't really get into us. We can if they steal onto us, kind of drop a Ring of Warding, then dodge out of it. Then the Thief is kind of stuck. They get CC'd there. And then we can drop a Chain of Light Smite combo, which actually does quite high damage to them because they're very squishy. You can use your Zealot's Fire once again to do your main source of damage, unless they're reflecting with Dagger Storm. But once again, like Mesmer, Torch will be the main source of damage against this class, and you can save Judge's Intervention for the healing, or the hammer combos like this. Boom. Get punted. And then Purging Flames is good, but when you're fighting a Thief, you want to drop it on yourself, so when they blink into you, they'll take 3 stacks of burning. When they come out to you, they'll take 3 stacks of burning, and that's about it. You can Virtue of Justice to blind things like their Heart Seekers or backstabs. You can pop your Aegis to block things like their backstabs, and you might have to use Renewed Focus when fighting a Thief. Then against Warrior, oh yeah, I already covered Warrior, didn't I? Yeah, so Ranger, sorry, yeah, against Ranger. So 2 typical builds on Ranger right now are Power Ranger and Condition Survival Trap Ranger. So the Condi Trap Ranger is very annoying to deal with because they have actually a lot of access to conditions, and our only condition clear comes from Contemplation of Purity and Virtue of Resolve, so you don't really want to get taken out by those. but all their survival skills remove conditions again, so they have access to a lot of Condi clear. So like Engineer, you want to get them out to about 2 or 3 stacks at a time, and slowly they'll die. Against a Power Ranger, you can drop the big burning bomb on them, because they have access to like dick all Condi clear, unless they're on survival skills. And once again do the same thing, but they'll have like very low health, low toughness, everything, so even your mighty blows will hit pretty hard. And yeah, while the Ranger is in the 0 damage Signet form, so Signet is stone, I believe it is, you can still apply burning damage to them, so they'll still die while in that form. You can kind of ignore their pets. You can drop Purging Flames around the pets, and the pet will run through it 100 times because it's stupid, and die off. So yeah, that's how you deal with other classes. That's our Guardian PvP class guide. Check out my other class guides if you want. I have one for Mesmer, Warrior, Thief, and Ellie. And I also make PvP build guides. Check those out on the channel. If you have any suggestions or questions about Guardian, you can ask me in the comments or on the post. And see you guys next time. Subscribe for more videos.